if you feel that your children are capable of learning the same things that you've learned, you'll be able to see them. So unless you go to the vet or unless there's a problem that arises, you won't even know about it. And then you get there and then it's expensive. Especially having not one, but 7 rabbits at one point. Rabbits that don't have too many toys for enrichment or to keep them occupied will chew on the baseboards.
Hey everyone! This is Nab's Ventures N.A.Y and welcome to the Pet Talk. This is the second part of the episode with Jillian from the Upscale Bunny. What's your name, your brand's name, and your Instagram account?
Hi, my name is Jillian Ft.The and I'm the owner of the Upscale Bunny. We make all organic and natural chew toys and treats for rabbits.
Do you think that rabbits should be given to kids as beginner pets?
Do I think rabbits are beginner pets? That's a loaded question, and it's definitely something I've been asked numerous times, especially by friends that have children and they'd like that to be their first pet. I'll give you a scenario. Let's say you've got kids under the age of 5, or kids at any age, right? That are not teenagers yet, and you want to get a rabbit. And before you ever had kids, you had a rabbit, and it was free roaming. You took care of it. You knew that it was a specialty pet and an exotic animal, that vet bills were going to cost you a lot of money. Let's say you took care of your rabbit the way that you were supposed to take care of it, according to how House Rabbit Society deems that you should take care of it, right? And you did that before you had kids. And then you have kids and you want to share your love for having a rabbit and that experience that you had. I think that since you had the experience of taking care of it the proper way, then absolutely. If you want it to be the beginner pet, go for it. You already have the experience, you know what to do, you know what not to do. So, and if you feel that your children are capable of learning the same things that you've learned, and from you teaching them how to properly take care of it and what to expect, and you constantly drill into their heads that, listen, it's a fragile rabbit. You can't really hold it, you can't really cuddle with it, you just sit there and you let that rabbit do what it wants to do with you. Then I think that that's fine. Because that's something that I would do. Here I am, someone that has 7 rabbits. I know what I signed up for. I have spent $6,000 on vet bills for just one rabbit during Christmas week because it had to be hospitalized due to GI stasis. I fully know what I got myself involved with, especially having not one, but 7 rabbits at one point. And, I'm 35 years old. I are trying for a baby, and, that child is going to grow up around rabbits because that's what I have, and my rabbits happen to be, some of them, very young. They'll live another 9 years. Because my youngest is only 8 months old, and then my second youngest, which are 3 of them, are 1-year-old. So with luck, they'll live another 10 years, right? And within that time, the child is going to learn how to handle them, right? I think that that's okay. I think that I have every right to want my child to know what it's like to have a rabbit, and it's going to end up being their beginner pet because that's what we have here. We don't have dogs, we don't have cats, we just have rabbits. And occasionally, when my mom has her dogs here when she visits. I think where the problem is that someone who has never owned a rabbit, who has never properly taken care of a rabbit, and I'm not talking about those people that are like, yeah, I had a rabbit when I was little, but it was a rabbit in a hutch in the backyard. I'm talking those people, and then people who have never ever had a rabbit before. I think when those people say, I want to get a rabbit as a beginner pet for my child, no, you should not. Because you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. Taking care of a rabbit is not like taking care of a dog. You wake up in the morning and you put some kibble and some wet or dry food in your dog's bowl. And you maybe do that once or twice a day. And then you have pee-pee pads around for them to pee on, or you take them for a walk, or whatever the case may be. And, you call it a day. With a rabbit, you have to constantly give them hay throughout the day because they need fresh hay constantly. You're not overwhelming them with too many pellets that will cause obesity for them. Rabbits are very delicate animals, so the moment that they are obese, it's very hard for them to lose weight. If they're obese, then their life expectancy goes down a lot because they are no longer able to be mobile. A lot of obese rabbits will then be hit with GI stasis because they're not, running around or being active. Their gut isn't constantly moving, and it's moving for all the wrong reasons, because they're eating way too much and then they're not getting enough exercise. They will go through GI stasis, and then that's fatal to them if you don't catch it in time. Now you have to give them salads. You got to give them fresh greens, so you got to prepare that. You got to clean that, once or twice a day, and then put it down for your rabbit. You have to clean their litter box. I know some people that do it once a day. I do it once every 2 days. But you have to be up on that. You have to be aware that rabbits, once they hit the age of puberty, they can start spraying. Girls and boys, they'll jump up in the air and they'll pee at the same time, and it will fly everywhere. It will get on your couch, your bedding, your walls, your ceiling, the floor. You can potty train them, but there's going to be a period of time where they do pee outside of their litter box or poop. There are going to be things like couches and beds that, even if they are little litter box trained, they may still pee on those things because they smell you on it. These are things that you have to prepare for. You have to bunny proof the house. Any wires that you see that are out. Rabbits love chewing on wires. I don't know why, but they just love chewing on wires. I can't tell you how many phone chargers I've gone through in the past 7 years. Rabbits that don't have too many toys for enrichment or to keep them occupied will chew on the baseboards, will chew on the walls, will chew on the doors. They'll dig in a carpet. If you have carpet, they love digging. If they pee on the floor and you don't get it in time and it begins to dry and maybe you don't see it, it will ruin wood floors, even if the wood floor is treated. These are things that you have to think about when you get a rabbit. A vet. The vet that you would have for a dog or a cat is nothing in comparison what you need for a vet for a rabbit. A rabbit is deemed as an exotic animal. It's a specialty animal. Vets, your basic vet is only going to school to learn about a dog and a cat. If they want to learn about any other animal other than a dog and a cat, they have to go through special education for that, continued education for that, and then they become a specialty doctor for that. And not everyone does that. Not every vet does that. So you really have to look for a great vet, and those vets are going to be expensive. Your rabbit needs a yearly checkup. If you are uncomfortable clipping your rabbit's nails, you need to go to the vet. If you're uncomfortable giving them medicine, you need to go to the vet. If you have to get them spayed and neutered. I know that some people don't spay or neuter their rabbits, but there are benefits to doing that. If you want to have two and you want two different sexes, you have to get them spayed and neutered. Otherwise, they reproduce like crazy. It also is a benefit to them. Boys can get testicular cancer, girls can get uterine cancer, and it is fatal. Once girls get it, that's it. They're gone. You don't have much time. Rabbits also can get very ill very quickly. They can be infected by mites, by parasites, by worms in their intestines. They can go through coccidia when they're little. Now there's a disease floating around that affects rabbits, that they need a vaccination for. Who would have thought you would need to vaccinate that cute tiny little rabbit that you see, right? You wouldn't think that. You wouldn't think that they are included in an exotic category like a reptile or a tarantula is, right? Those are exotic animals. You would never think that that cute little bunny is considered exotic, but they are. And because of that reason, they are expensive when you go to the vet. 2 of my rabbits have gone through GI stasis. 1 only went through it once and never again. Knock on wood. And that cost me about $1,200 when he went in. And he was only admitted for a day. My other rabbit, Leo, he went through GI stasis twice, back to back, within a month. And it was because, he was one of the rabbits that I had adopted from the rescue, and he was a part of that hoarding situation. So there was a lot of interbreeding. Because of that, he had dental problems, genetic problems with his teeth. And it's something that I didn't know until he stopped eating and he stopped drinking and he stopped peeing and pooping. So, we bring him to the vet, and it was during Christmas weekend. I bring him into the vet. He had to stay there for 5 nights. He had to be hooked up to an IV. He had to get subcutaneous fluids, a nice cocktail of medicine. And then he had to get a dental procedure done to shave down his teeth and to get one extracted. That cost $6,000 for a rabbit. And if I didn't get his teeth trimmed down, if I didn't bring him to the vet, if he didn't stay and get subcutaneous fluids, or he didn't get the proper care, he would have died within 24 hours. So that's how serious GI stasis is. Your rabbit, once they go through it, you only have 24 hours to act quickly, to get them to a vet and to get them some treatment. And that treatment, depending on how severe the GI stasis is, depending on whether it's a gas blockage or it's a buildup of hay and maybe, their hair that's stuck in their gut, depending on what that is, your vet bill is going to be extremely high. He had gas, and he wasn't eating because his teeth were hurting him. They were too long in the back, in the molar region where you can't see. You could try to open up your rabbit's mouth and you won't be able to see them. So unless you go to the vet, or unless there's a problem that arises, you won't even know about it. And then you get there and then it's expensive. But these are the things that you have to research about before you even think about getting one of them. And the more you get, the higher the chances are for all of them or some of them to have those problems. I think at one point or another, everyone kind of goes through GI stasis, whether it's the very beginning and you snip it in the butt right away, or it's very serious and you got to bring them to the vet. At some point, you're going to have to deal with that. Let's see. They are also, very great pets. They're great companion animals, but you have to know what you're getting yourself into. You really do have to do the research. And I think for children, small children, if you as an adult, their parent, their guardian, has never taken care of a rabbit the proper way, that the House Rabbit Society suggests that you take care of them, then you shouldn't be getting a rabbit for a small child, because majority of the work is going to be placed on you as a parent the moment that honeymoon stage wears off. And I guarantee you that'll probably be a week, because within that week your child is going to realize that the rabbit doesn't want to be picked up, that the rabbit may bite, that the rabbit's going to scratch, that they're going to kick, and those kicks are powerful and they hurt. So do the scratches, and so do the biting. They're going to realize that they can't really handle the rabbit the way that they're thinking that they can. And they're not going to understand why. And you may not understand why if you don't do your research. A kid can very easily drop a rabbit and the rabbit can very easily break their legs, break their spine. There are some rabbits that get ear mites and then they've got to deal with head tilt, and maybe, a kid doesn't like the way the rabbit looks, right? And doesn't want the rabbit anymore. A lot of people, once they get a rabbit and they realize that they can't take care of them or that it's too much maintenance, because it's a lot of maintenance. My parents had 6 Shih Tzus at one time, when my brother and I were growing up. And, now my mom's down to 2 of that 6. But with all of those 6 rabbits, and, my brother and I, my mom, my dad, we helped take care of the dogs together. All of those 6 dogs was nothing in comparison to the rabbits. The rabbits completely are more high maintenance than those 6 dogs could ever be, even with all the vet bills that they incurred throughout the years for the dogs. So when people say that, a rabbit is a beginner pet, I laugh at that, because I guarantee you're going to end up wanting to get rid of the pet. And then that's when the really hard part comes. You either give it to a friend. Some people think that they can just release them out into the wild because they know that rabbits are out in the wild. Domesticated rabbits can't be put out into the wild. They have no idea how to take care of themselves. They have no idea what kind of survival instincts they need outside of the home, because they don't need them in the home. A lot of people shove them off to shelters and rescues. And rabbits make up a large portion of what will be found in a shelter or a rescue. In New York, one of the shelters that I went to try to adopt my second rabbit told me that rabbits completely outweighed how many dogs and cats they had in their shelter combined. That's a big amount, and that has all been contributed by people who didn't do their research, who adopted rabbits when they probably shouldn't have. So do I think that, rabbits are a good beginner pet? It really does depend on the person. It depends on the kids. It depends on a lot of different factors.
Thank you so very much, the Upscale Bunny, for taking out the time and putting in the effort to make this part of the episode possible. Thank you for sharing your views. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you all so much for watching, and hope that you have a wonderful day ahead as well.